Tonight, Transport Minister David Campbell's shock resignation following a 7 News investigation. An American man charged with the murder of Sydney nurse Michelle Beats. Thailand extends its crackdown as Bangkok goes up in flames. And how Sydney's hero ninjas rescued a man from young thugs.
This is 7 News with Chris Barth.
Good evening. Transport Minister David Campbell has announced his resignation after 7 News confronted him with questions about his use of his taxpayer-funded car to visit a gay sex club. 7's Adam Walters is at Parliament House. Adam, how has this drama unfolded?
Chris, a little more than an hour ago, David Campbell met with Premier Kristina Keneally to offer his resignation. She accepted it without hesitation. His shock departure follows an investigation by 7 News into how Mr Campbell was using his ministerial car to visit a sex club in the Premier's eastern suburbs electorate of Heffron. Now, Mr Campbell is a former police minister. As Transport Minister more recently, he presided over the debacles of a $500 million blowout in the doomed Metro project to Rozelle, and more recently, the F3 traffic debacle on April 12. But this was a crisis from which he was never destined to recover. This is Transport Minister David Campbell leaving a sex venue in the electorate of Premier Kristina Keneally. The minister had been in Cairns at Kensington for more than 2 hours on Tuesday night, taking advantage of Parliament's recently introduced family-friendly hours. Mr Campbell excused his driver and drove himself to the gay sauna in his ministerial car. Formerly known as Ken's Karate Club, or KKK, the establishment charges a $22 entry fee and assures clients of discretion and security cameras. On its website, it offers services for men who prefer men, including a porn lounge, sauna and spa. Since 1999, Mr Campbell has campaigned strongly and successfully as a family man in his Wollongong seat of Kira. He sends constituents Christmas cards featuring his children and wife, who is battling cancer. Entitled to an annual Sydney allowance of almost $45,000, David Campbell also lives in one of 2 apartments he owns in Potts Point. Revelations of his double life came as the opposition applied more pressure on the minister to explain his movements on the night of the F3 traffic chaos. That's when thousands of Central Coast residents didn't get home to their families until after midnight.
This House condemns the Minister for Transport and Roads for going missing while most of his senior bureaucrats worked to fix the F3 fiasco.
Department of Transport Director General Les Wallinger also refused to answer whether he was in contact with Mr Campbell during the April 12 meltdown. You're the Director General. Are you pretty confident that your records will reflect close communication with your minister on that night of the F3 debacle?
As I said, Adam, I can't make any comment until the inquiry is complete on it.
The minister went on the attack in Parliament, taking aim at the Deputy Opposition Leader.
Mr Speaker, indeed, Stoner is out of control.
But in the end, Chris, of course, circumstances were beyond the control of Mr Campbell. A short time ago, he issued this statement: "I have resigned as Minister for Transport and Roads for personal reasons, not reasons relating to his ministerial duties. I apologise to my wife, family, colleagues, staff and the community for letting them down." He confirms in this release that he will be staying on as the member for the Wollongong seat of Kira, Chris.
Adam, has the Premier had anything to say publicly?
Not publicly. As we speak, there is growing pressure, as you can imagine, inside this building for Ms Keneally to come forward and explain why she was so quick to accept Mr Campbell's resignation.
What damage will this do to her government?
10 months before an election, Chris, immeasurable damage. Transport, the #1 issue going to the polls next year. She now has to find a new minister to defend all over again the debacles thus far.
All right, Adam, thanks for that. Adam Walters with that exclusive story at Parliament House. Returning to our breaking news now on the resignation of Transport Minister David Campbell, Adam Walters is at State Parliament waiting for Mr Campbell to come outside. Adam, any sign of him?
Chris, you can be sure that he won't be leaving Parliament via the front entrance. We believe he is packing his belongings to prepare, leaving for the last time as Minister. It's not sure whether he's returning to one of his 2 homes in Sydney at Potts Point near King's Cross, or in fact driving down the F6 to Wollongong to be with his family.
Adam, considering Mr Campbell campaigned on family values, can he really stay on as an MP?
That's going to be the subject of intense debate, no doubt. Since 1999, David Campbell has campaigned on family values. We saw that he included his family, his sons, his wife, in campaigning. They featured prominently on Christmas cards. It's now going to become a war between the factions to see whether he can recover from this in any way, Chris.
All right, Adam Walters with the latest on the resignation of David Campbell, live from State Parliament. Thank you. People were shouting. Thanks, Sarah. We'll break out the brollies. More breaking news now, and David Campbell has just left Parliament House after resigning as Transport Minister. It's not clear where he's heading, having earlier released a statement apologising to his family and community. A 7 News investigation caught him using a taxpayer-funded car to visit a sex club. And that's
tonight, after the surrender curfew for a country in crisis. Murder charges over the stabbing of a Sydney nurse.
A 49-year-old Blanco man has today been charged with the murder of Michelle Beats.
A shock resignation, Transport Minister David Campbell steps down. And muggers beware, the Ninja Neighbourhood Watch.
I think it was more the shock to them that there was 5 guys in ninja uniform.
Good evening, Juanita Phillips with ABC News, and we welcome viewers in Canberra who are joining us tonight. First to some breaking news. The New South Wales government has been hit by a bombshell. Transport Minister David Campbell has suddenly and unexpectedly resigned amid allegations of a sex scandal. A short time ago, Mr Campbell issued a statement saying he was quitting for personal reasons. He also apologised to his family and the community for letting them down. State political reporter Matt Wordsworth joins us now from Macquarie Street. Matt, this has only just happened. What's the story behind it?
Good evening, Juanita. Well, the allegation is that Mr Campbell used a ministerial car to frequent a gay sex club in Sydney, Kensington. It would appear he's been leading a bit of a double life. He's married with 2 adult children and his wife is currently recovering from a long and serious illness. Now, Mr Campbell was here at Parliament today and he left just a short time ago. He didn't speak to the media today or on his way out, but he did issue a statement to which you referred, in which he said, "I've resigned as Minister for Transport and Roads for personal reasons, not for any reasons relating to my ministerial duties. I apologise to my wife, family, colleagues, staff and the community for letting them down." Now, he's asked for the privacy of his family and friends to be observed, but he has said that he will stay on as the member for the Wollongong-based seat of Kira.
Coming so soon after the Palazzano scandal, how damaging will this be for the government?
Well, losing a minister is always tremendously damaging to a government, so there's no doubt that Premier Keneally is going to take a hit over this one. And she also has to find a replacement for Mr Campbell. That's just one of the jobs in front of her over the next 24 hours. The logical choice will be David Borger, who's been assisting Mr Campbell. But this is another line in a long line of scandals for this Labor government. You only have to go back a year to John Della Bosca having an affair with a young woman, Matt Brown with the infamous underpants dance, and just last month, Karen Palazzano lying to the ICAC. So it would appear that no one does scandals like New South Wales Labor, Juanita.
Matt Wordsworth, thank you.